everybody, and welcome back to another episode. Today, we're going to be talking about the 5 lessons to become a billionaire. This is directly out of Steve Schwarzman's book, What It Takes. If you haven't read that book, it is an awesome story about how he started and built Blackstone, which, if you don't know, is one of the largest, most successful hedge funds in history. There's a lot of really cool stuff written around Blackstone. I encourage you to get it. And he shares so many gold nuggets of wisdom in this book. But these 5 lessons really stood out to me. And he says that these are the 5 lessons that he learned to become a billionaire. So I want to share those with you today. Hey, if you get a quick second too and you like this, do us a favor. Leave us 5 stars, leave us a review, and share this with your friends and family. Believe me, it means more than you think. We do these podcasts for the reviews because it allows us to get more great content out to more great looking listeners like yourself. All right, so take a second and do that. Leave us a review. All right, let's talk about the 5 lessons to become a billionaire. Lesson number 1 from Steve Schwarzman: find the best people and build an unstoppable team. This was something that was really interesting to me. Something important. He said that A-plus players are attracted to A-plus opportunities. He also said that it takes just as much time and effort to go after the big opportunities as it does the small opportunities. This really resonated with me because for us, and I'll never forget when I learned this, it literally takes the exact same amount of time for us to go and chase a 100 home development piece of land, get it rezoned, get it entitled, etc., and start that development as it does to deal with a homeowner that owns a piece of land that you can build 4 or 5 homes that you're subdividing. It's literally the same amount of work and you're dealing with the same problems. So you might as well go after the big opportunities and spend your time doing that. Also, if you're wanting to hire world-class talent, when we were just flipping houses and being really cheap and having to really squeeze our contractors and squeeze our margins, we were not able to attract the A-plus players because we did not have an A-plus opportunity. Now, when you're dealing with these large developments where there's a lot of money on the table, A-plus contractors are attracted to that. The real guys who know how to make money and perform work, they want to tackle projects like that. That's why you see these super profitable companies, building these skyscrapers downtown like Turner & Construction and Hansel and Phillips. They are attracted to A-plus opportunities. And so your ability to find the best people and build an unstoppable team, that's lesson number 1, right, is predicated on going after the A-plus opportunities or having an A-plus opportunity and being able to find the A-plus people on that. So hire top down, not bottom up, essentially. Lesson number 2, stick to your morals and maintain your work ethic. Stick to your morals and maintain your work ethic. It's very important that you clearly define your company's mission and values, or you're going to end up with a bunch of people that you don't like working with and don't share the same morals. What do I mean by morals? Some companies, the culture is, hey, it's okay to bend the rules a little bit. We're okay with that. There's a little gray area here. We can roll the dice and be okay. Others might have a clear line and be a little bit too frigid, where it's like, if it's not written in the Bible, I am not going near it and I'm not touching it. And so making sure that you've got very clear morals that are defined and values that the company shares is very, very important. You need to stick to your morals and maintain your work ethic. In other words, Warren Buffett had a good quote on this. He said, if you wouldn't be comfortable with it being shared in a newspaper, do not do it. And that has held really well for him. Not only is he amazing for the amount of money that Warren Buffett has made, but the reputation. He has maintained an amazing reputation for literally 5-6 decades. He's never been caught doing something that was wrong, which is kind of funny because in the financial world, it seems like every week we have somebody who's going to jail for hedge fund fraud or wire fraud or embezzling money from investors, something along those lines. So he said, stick to your morals and maintain your work ethic, because on a long enough time scale, anything times 0 is 0. And you can spend your entire life building a reputation and literally lose it in a moment with one wrong decision that you make. So that's lesson number 2. Number 3 is don't be afraid to be ambitious and go for gold. We kind of touched on this already about having going after A+ opportunities. That's essentially what this means. I guess I kind of put lesson number 3 and lesson number 1 together in one lesson. But lesson number 3 is don't be afraid to be ambitious and go for gold. In other words, it takes just as much time to go after the big opportunities as it does the small opportunities. Lesson number 4 is negotiation involves a win-win for both sides. I love this. I'll never forget a time when we negotiated too well with this general contractor to build, it was actually to build our first home ever. I remember this because he ended up walking off the job and I ended up having to take over as general contractor, which is funny because I don't even know where the glass stretcher is in Home Depot, if you catch my drift. I did not have construction knowledge. So negotiation involves a win-win for both sides. We overly negotiated with him. I guess he really wanted to work, and we actually ended up making a bad deal, and it caused more problems for us than it did trying to get a good price, because he ended up walking off that job, ended up walking away with a little extra money that we hadn't that we'd paid him kind of as a deposit for some work that was about to start. And that was a tough lesson learned. Like, everybody's got to win in the deal. If you're doing a deal and you're not sure how the other side is going to benefit, if it's not clear, I would be skeptical of that deal. You need to understand how the other side is benefiting, and you need to make sure that those terms don't change throughout the deal. Because if you know that the terms change and all of a sudden it's not a benefit to them, well, they might not be telling it to you, but they'll probably find a way to back out of that deal, which is going to affect you. So make sure that when you're negotiating, it involves a win-win for both sides. And finally, lesson number 5 that Steve Schwarzman says to become a billionaire is be the best at everything you do. For me, it doesn't matter if I'm structuring a $20 million new community deal or sweeping the floors at my house. I'm going to do it to the very best of my abilities. My parents did a really good job of instilling this in me at a young age, and it served me well, because you've got to be good at the low-skilled, low-level tasks first to stand out, to get the opportunity to do the more sophisticated, the more shiny work that's available. So be the best at everything you do. It speaks so much to your character. If you've got a guy who's only doing the best at the things that he thinks matters most or matters most to other people and is lackadaisical and everything else, that's going to show. Versus if you got an all-star who gives it the best at everything that they do, that person is going to attract many more eyes to the people like the billionaires, like Steve Schwarzman, who are looking for the A+ players. Because you want an A+ opportunity, and to get an A+ opportunity, you got to be an A+ player. So again, his book is What It Takes. If you haven't read it already, highly encourage you to read this book. It's a fantastic read. Again, if you enjoyed this episode, leave us a review and share this with your friends and family. We'll see you guys next time.